Hi, this is Suma. I'm back again with my Analyst Relations video series. In my earlier videos, I spoke about the Analyst Relations Basics 101. Then I went on to talk about what are vendor briefings and how to leverage them. Today I'll be talking about Analyst Inquiry calls. So inquiry calls are the best way to get into the headspace of an analyst, to get into their radar. And I said that's very important in the relations bit to make sure that they know you. So today in this video, I'll be talking to you about the internal prep required, the external prep required, and finally the actual call that happens. So from an internal prep required, the good thing is that a lot of our business leaders or practice leaders are already aware about the value of analyst relations. And if they are not, you can educate them, saying that especially an analyst firm like Gartner, you're paying a lot, you're investing a lot of money to get insights from them, whether it is through their reports or through these inquiry calls. So they should leverage that knowledge. And best way to go about it is do an inquiry call. So once you do that awareness bit and kind of get them up to speed, you can help them out probably. And I think from the best way to do it is if you've given them some reports for reading, you can ask them that if there is any reports that they find interesting and they want to ask further questions, that you can set up an inquiry call with those analyst authors. Also, I've noticed that during mostly business reviews or planning sessions, that's when there's a lot of scampering up for analyst insights, which the leaders can kind of fit into their strategy presentations for more of a validation perspective. So that's another way of making sure you do your inquiry calls right. Or it could be on geo trends, market trends, or it could be go-to-market strategy, validation of that, and so that's how you can kind of do that. Then you also have you can also do document validations, wherein you send a report with probably 5 to 8 slides and with all your strategy, and ask the analyst to validate the document and kind of give their feedback on that. So that's a good way of doing an inquiry call as well. Now that's the internal prep bit. The external prep is wherein usually you set up an inquiry. Either you feed in the request online on their sites, so or you have a specific email ID which you can write to. Now the external link, when you fill in that, make sure that the title has a very clear objective of what you are trying to achieve from that call. Then in the description part, when you're writing the questions, sometimes there's a word limit, and if there's a word limit, you can always write down your questions, further detail and all that, and attach a document, or else just put those 5 questions and and then submit the request. So once you also remember, when you're writing you have to all put in the analyst names also. So if you don't know which analyst to reach out to, then leave that blank or say relevant analyst. But if you have specific analysts that you want to reach out to, sometimes it could be more than 2, because you want a vertical perspective or a technology perspective. So you write down the names of the analysts, and you will usually get a response based on that. And then of course go ahead and submit it. You will get a scheduling link which you kind of click, and then you pick up a slot. And once you pick up the slot based on your internal audience's availability, make sure that you do a prep call just to set expectations. Now let's come to the actual call. The call itself, it's a half an hour, usually tight, really hard calls with a lot of hard stops. So for both the analysts and for your internal stakeholders as well. So you have to make the best out of it. Start with intros. It's a good practice to kind of send a slide with your company background and the name of the people who are attending the call, so that you save out that much time. If you can't send it, that's fine. Spend 2-3 minutes on the intros to set the context that yes, we have our leaders coming onto this call, and the analyst will also appreciate that. If the analyst is on video, then it makes sense to be yourself on the video as well. The audience from our side, company side, also should be on video. That's a good, it's a polite thing to do. Then also, as I said, if you've not sent the context of your business, use those 2-3 minutes to kind of say that, okay, this is what my company is, this is the background, and this is the context of our questions, but don't use more than 2-3 minutes. So that's 5 minutes done for you. The next 25 minutes, focus on your questions. You can either choose to kind of remember, analysts do a lot of prep and come for these inquiry sessions. They take it really seriously. So if you have any specific priority of questions, keeping the shortage of time, you can ask that, can you answer these questions first, and yeah, go with that flow. Make it as interactive as possible. You can kind of keep it dig deeper if you think that that you need a little more clarity. Have somebody do a little bit of time management. Usually the analyst relations rep does that. So whenever you're reaching like 5 minutes, make sure you've got your last 5 minutes, make sure that you got your most important questions answered. And sometimes it happens, if you have a great discussion, sometimes you may not be able to get all your questions answered. That's okay. You can always do a follow-up inquiry call. So once the call is done, and yeah, last 5 minutes, if the analyst is new and they don't know you, so you can request saying that to him or her, saying that, hey, would you like to know more about our business? And if they say yes, then that's perfect. That's a briefing opportunity for you as well. Now, once the call is over, be sure to give feedback. Analyst ratings, kind of get bumped up if you get a good feedback. If you really find the call useful, go ahead and give it. If not, put your comments why you didn't find it. I think it's very important to give feedback, any aspect of life for that matter. Yeah, so yeah, today I spoke about what are inquiry calls, the internal prep required, the external prep required, and finally the call itself. So I hope that was useful. Keep watching. Thank you.